Hey everybody, welcome back. Hops Geek News, your location for all things pop culture. If you see it at Comic Con, you see it here, hear it here. Catch us on YouTube, search Hops News. Catch us on all your streaming sites, search Hops News. I am Mash, one of your two co-hosts. Alongside me is the Hoppy Mommy. Hoppy, what it does.
What it does good. I am drinking a delicious beer from Southern Grist called Who Needs Galaxy?
That's right. Who needs the galaxy? Apparently, not the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, which we're going to talk a little Star Wars action today. We're talking Star Wars Christmas specials, both the new Lego and the holiday movie. Alongside, we also have some news about Legends of Tomorrow, Daredevil, Flash, Hawkeye, Disney, Marvel,
All this Disney.
Amazon,
That's
and
redundant.
some Christmas stuff. So, thanks for joining us. Again, I am Mash and I'm drinking a Seismic Whispers from Trim Tab Brewing in Alabama. It's a, oh gosh, what is it? It's a Mosaic, Azaka, and Amarillo hops, wheat and oat based hazy double IPA. I like this because we are talking Star Wars today and you send seismic whispers through the force. And it also has a good
Nice.
quote on the side. What we do now echoes in eternity by Marcus Aurelius or Michael Scott, whoever you watch, if you watch The Office.
Mine doesn't have any thoughtful quotes, but it does say, drink fresh, keep cold, don't space out. And
That
it's a
is
New England double.
thoughtful. No, that is a thoughtful insight is you should drink your beers fresh. You should keep them cold and they're always the most delicious at that point in time. Um,
Yep. But don't space out.
this is also a 2020 Light Visions collection, whatever that means. And it says create a world you love. And that's kind of what's wow. I didn't realize Alabama could be so deep. And if it's not their cousins. So yeah, this is great.
So yeah, this one is called Who Needs Galaxy, and obviously I opened it tonight for Star Wars, but the reason it is because there are no galaxy hops in this.
Oh
So it
no.
is a double New England style IPA brewed with Azaka Mosaic and Citra, bursting with tropical
Oh my God,
fruit
we almost had the same
flavors,
beers.
despite the absence of galaxy. Citra is one of my favorite hops. I love Citra, and this beer is amazing. And anybody who's had a Southern Grist IPA is probably
God,
not
Southern
surprised.
Grist does really good. I have a Black is Beautiful by Southern Grist in my cabinet right now, which I've been hoarding all my Black is Beautiful beers. I will eventually get to
Well, they'll
those.
age well.
Yeah, I will get to those eventually. I've been drinking all like the IPAs and stuff that I've been sitting on for a few months now, just because I'm also a hoarder. But yeah,
What are
um,
you gonna
we don't have anything that we did wrong from last week because we are perfect and everybody should strive to be like us.
at least that we know of.
Just kidding. Again, Doctor Who. We kind of went over the Christmas specials. Again, that's a lot of subjectiveness, and it's hard to mess up on those. So, other than that, a little bit of what have we read or what have we watched. I have dived into the 616. I've watched Mandalorian, which we're going to talk about here at the end of this episode. So, after we talk about the Star Wars Christmas specials, we're going to roll into some Mandalorian, which, if at that case you've not watched it yet, go watch it right now because holy shit, it was amazing. And other than that, I haven't read anything besides a Power Rangers comic because it was my son's birthday. And I took him to the comic book store and he picked out his comic book, which was happened to be a Power Rangers comic. And it was decent. I love the Power Rangers, grew up on the Power Rangers.
And we can
Um,
thank Japanese Spider Man for the
we
Power
can we
Rangers.
can thank Japanese Spider-Man for
If
Power
you've
Rangers
watched
and
616.
Transformers. If you have
Yes.
watched 616, you can thank a lot of things for like Marvel. Like that is a fantastic series that we're gonna have to do our own episode on. I think so at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But what are you watching? What are you reading? I think there's a pretty big book that came out recently, right?
Yes. So I did watch the second episode of 616. I'm kind of pacing myself with that. I watched the Japanese Spider-Man one, and then I watched the one that was all about the female writers and illustrators and comics, which was amazing. And so I just started the one in Spain. There's actual people who are doing the comics in Spain, which looks really interesting, but I haven't gotten into it yet. So again, absolutely go watch that. And Mando. And yes, Ready Player Two. I finally
Oh
got
man,
it.
that's a cool book cover. I mean, it just says words on it, but it's
Well,
still a pretty sweet and poppy. kind of
Yeah,
thing.
but it doesn't. My daughter even said when it came, she's like, I'm upset it doesn't match the first one because I have the paperback
Oh,
and the first one. So they don't look the same. But if you follow my personal page, the Hoppy Mommy, I did post it on there. But I'm only about yeah, I'm not too far in. I've had it for a couple
how
for
dare
two
you
days
not
now.
finish that book already?
I know these damn kids, they need so much attention. When the first one came out, or when I read the first one, my younger one was teeny, so I could literally just hold him all day and read it. And I read all like 400 pages in 2 days. So I'm not there. But this one is shorter. It's really good. If anybody's not familiar with it, there is a movie as well, but the book is obviously much better. And the whole premise of it is it takes place in the future in like the 2040s, and of course the world's gone to shit and everybody goes into this kind of virtual reality social media to escape how terrible things are. And then this guy that has created this virtual reality is knows he's dying, and so he's created this game that like if you can find these keys and these gates you can inherit all this wealth that I have because I have no spouse, I have no kids. But since this guy was basically, I think he was born in the 70s, so he grew up in the 80s and 90s, he's obsessed with that kind of pop culture. So you get so many amazing pop culture references. I mean, DeLoreans, Doctor Who, John Hughes movies. I mean, Highland, or what is it? There Can Only Be One is a Highlander.
Yes, that is
Yes.
Highlander. Yep.
So, I mean, you get Star Wars references, you get Lord of the Rings, and like they go into depths in some of this stuff. And so the first one came out a few years ago, and there was a movie. The bad guy in it was from. He's also in Captain Marvel. He's one of the aliens, the main
Yes.
alien dude, the main scroll. Um,
Um, are
I
you?
don't know what his name
Oh
is,
my
but
God, we're not talking. You're not talking about.
the main
Holy
scroll. He's
shit.
also actually he plays a human. He plays a human, which he took over as the scroll, and then
Oh
he's
yeah,
sipping out of the
no,
cup,
no, no.
mimicking the Pulp
Yeah,
Fiction.
you're talking about oh my God, because he also played in Rogue One, right?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yes. Oh,
Well,
he
save that for next week
Ben
for our
Ben
mistake.
Ben Middleton. Is that Benjamin? Oh, guys,
I know, but
this
he's the bad guy in Ready Player One. I feel like Ready
this
Player
is
One didn't get the
awkward.
amount of hype that it deserved for the movie, but the movie, I even
I
said it last week, like there are parts watching the movie that I was like, if you haven't read the book, you don't fully understand what's happening right now. So you need the books. It's so good. If you like sci-fi, it's so good.
I haven't read the book. The movie, the wife and I watched one night randomly, and it was actually really really good. I'm surprised I hadn't watched the movie before. It is Ben Mendelsohn. God, I am so stupid. Yes,
Yeah, he's the
yes,
bad guy.
he is. So he plays in Rogue One, obviously as the ultimate bad guy, Director Krennic. And then he's in a lot of stuff aside from Captain Marvel, but he is a really really good actor. And it also stars, was that Ty Sheridan is how you pronounce his name. He's in other movies such as
And
X-Men
then,
Apocalypse as Scott Summers. He stars in
oh
X-Men.
yeah, that's right. Wade Watts is his name in
Yes.
Ready Player One,
So
and he's given that name because his dad wanted him to have a superhero sounding name, and that's
yeah.
at the very beginning of the first book.
So
So
he
he's named Wade Watts, and he even references Peter Parker or Bruce Banner in the book. The book is amazing.
that's I'll have
And
to
to
read
hear
it.
you say like the movie was good, like I was disappointed watching the movie because I like felt bad that people weren't getting the full gist of the story.
Right. And I feel like that's a lot of those, like, so you read the books and then you watch the movie, you're always going to lose elements. That's how I feel about
Right.
Harry Potter, particularly Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
I
There's
was
a
gonna say I
lot of
read the first Harry Potter and it was almost verbatim to the movie.
they left out Peeves, which, is gets on my pet peeves, but no, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, like that book has a lot. That's my favorite book. I think it's a lot of people's favorite books, but they leave a lot of the elements out in the movie that are important in the book. And so I understand. I'm one of those that are also like, oh, well, in the movie they did this versus the book. They did this and the book was better.
What
And
makes
that's
it, I mean, it does make it more fun. It does sound pretentious, but it does
it
make it
does,
more
but at the
fun.
same time, like it's to be expected because in a movie you got to trim it down to 2.5, 2 hours, whereas a book you could have 1,000 pages almost of just pure detail, and
Hmm.
you're always going to lose elements. But yeah, I thought the movie was great. I will read the book. I want to read the book now that I've watched the movie, just because that's kind of how I am. I always watch, try to vice versa, compare the two, things like that. So maybe I'll get around to it.
honestly, like just starting this, they're doing really good though in the sequel of this book, is because it's been a few years since I read the first book, and I read it so quick, and then the movie came out, and I've only seen the movie once, so I'm like reading some of it, and they do a good job of reminding you of this was that person, and this was that person, and that's why
Right.
this is good. So they've done a good job, and they've already kind of created a new storyline as well.
Hmm.
I'm still early into it. I think I'm only on like page 90 or something. But like even with Game of Thrones, I read the first book and I was like, this is season one to a T. So I went ahead and got the second one, started the second one, and it was still very similar. And then my daughter started reading them, and I've talked to other people, and they're like, keep reading them. The books start to separate from the show, and they give you more background, which may make you not dislike the ending as much.
No, you're gonna hate the fucking ending, which is also probably
Well,
why
I've seen all of
we
the show, but the books
well
have not been finished.
they probably will never be finished. We'll probably
Yeah, they
never
probably
get
won't.
Winds of Winter because George R. Martin will probably use the ending of Game of Thrones TV show as his excuse for not putting out the end of the movie. The rumor is that like he is just kind of killed his passion for it and blah blah blah. Whatever the reason is, like, dude, you have it set up so easily now that you can like you saw how the ending was. Just go the opposite
Just don't
direction
do
and
that.
give the people what they want, and then you're hailed a hero.
But what do the people want? Because I feel like if we're going to go off on a
Nobody's
whole
going to be
tangent. This
pleased.
needs to
Nobody's
be
ever going to be
another.
pleased. We'll talk about Game of
Exactly.
Thrones at some point,
Because I
but
feel like with Supernatural, if you had done like X, Y, and Z, everybody would have been happy. But Game of
yeah,
Thrones, nobody, you weren't going to have an everybody
you weren't
happy
going to
in
please
any.
everybody. You never will.
Right.
It's like Star Wars. It's one of the more toxic fan bases out there.
Oh my God. Star Wars is unbelievable because everybody obsessed with Star Wars hates
Oh, nobody hates Star
multiple
Wars more
movies.
than the people who love Star Wars, allegedly.
Right.
We'll,
Okay, let's
we'll have
go
to do a
to
whole Star
our
Wars episode at some point because then rank our movies, things like that. But
yeah.
yeah, it's just one of those things we may never see done. Other than that, though, yeah, we'll talk about Mandalorian. We do have some news, but first we're gonna go ahead and break into a little promo action. If you've been hearing us, we got Hop's Heroes Pod and really great dudes. So here's a little promo action by them.
Hey everyone. I don't have much time, so I'm just going to get right to the point. My name is Jordan Arith, and I host a podcast called Hop Heroes. Myself and two of my good friends discuss comic book stories while drinking delicious craft beer. You can find us on...
What's up, bro? What's going on here?
Oh, hey Zach. JR, how's it going?
It's going well, man. What are you up to?
Oh, nothing much, just talking to myself, practicing lines, you know the drill.
Oh, really? Because it sounded like you were recording the promo without us. And I'm just really confused as to why you would go and do something like that.
I wasn't recording without you guys, and why did you knock when you came on? It's a podcast. That doesn't even make any fucking sense.
Hello, everyone. This is Zach Barlow, the host of Hop Heroes podcast.
You're not the host.
I am joined weekly by my counterparts, Jordan and JR, and we will break down Great Brew and discuss the comic book universe. You can find me every Wednesday on all podcast platforms, and these guys will be there as well, I guess.
This is probably why he didn't want you on the promo, Zach.
I'm the host of the show.
Yeah, we have news. First, a little bit of news is David Ramsey, whom you know as Diggle from the Arrowverse. He was start off the bodyguard, and then he became whatever the hell his character kind of
Oliver's
was.
BFF.
Yes, they had a bromance going on, and I loved David Ramsey as Diggle.
Spartan.
He was great. Yes, he was Spartan. That's right. Thank you. But he's been cast in Legends of Tomorrow as an unknown character. It could still be Diggle.
No, he is still Diggle, but he's also an unknown character.
Oh, well, the big fan theory out there is Green Lantern. They've always fan cast him as Green Lantern. So maybe he plays Jon Stewart. Who knows? I don't know. But he's coming to Legends of Tomorrow. And
Which is the best DC show now,
it is.
I think.
Well, I mean, they're kind of waning out now. Arrow's done.
It was the first.
And
Supergirl's
Supergirl's
on her way out.
done. And Flash is still there. You have Batwoman and you have Legends of Tomorrow. But other than that, yeah, you don't really
We
have...
get Lois and Clark is coming out in January.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that one. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, you're not highly
Anyways,
anticipating that
I am
one?
not highly anticipating it. I've kind of fallen off the CW shows. I Love Flash. I haven't seen the latest episodes or season of Flash,
I am up to
but
date on Flash.
I'm not up to date on Legends either. I was really into that show for a while there, but I
It was
fell
a
out.
lot of Constantine this last season because I guess his show got canceled. I've never
His show
seen
was canceled. So
Constantine.
Constantine was on NBC for like a certain limited run. It was the first season. Well, they like put it on the death slot of Friday night, and it obviously failed there. And so they've kind of picked it up on CW, aired the first season again, and now he's reoccurred on Legends of Tomorrow. He plays a great Constantine.
Right.
He's no
Well,
Keanu Reeves,
he's
but
like a regular now.
he is. So yeah, he's on Legends. Another show that was kind of put to death, however, we are trying to resurrect because nothing stays dead in the comic book world. Daredevil. There's a whole big Save Daredevil going out right now. If you followed along, Marvel did not own the rights again to the Daredevil series that was on Netflix. And after 2 years after their expiration, Netflix still owned it. Well, as of this past Sunday, which we're filming this on a Wednesday, this past Sunday, Daredevil went back to Marvel. So everyone's putting out like hashtag Save Daredevil. Clark Gregg has even tweeted about it. So there's a chance to
Coulson.
get Daredevil back. And if Agent Coulson's tweeting about it, you should listen. I also think that Charlie Cox and what that show did was phenomenal. So I don't see Marvel actually letting it die. If they bring Deadpool into the whole Marvel universe, then I feel like they're going to bring at least a couple of these Netflix series into their fold. What do you think?
I think I would absolutely love that. And I heard that there was speculation. I don't know if this is confirmed, but there was speculation about bringing the Defenders into Endgame. And they said, well, not everybody will know who they are. And some people might be confused. And to me, I thought, like, reward the people who are watching all of your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, bring Daisy in. Like, come on. Like, I've stuck around for every single MCU show other than Inhumans because it's terrible.
Well, nobody stuck around for Inhumans.
Right now. I wonder if there's got to be somebody. One day we'll meet someone who watched
I would like
all of them.
if you happen to listen to this and you were like, I really enjoyed Inhumans, please let us know. Hops Geek News, because
enjoyed. I don't think that's possible. I just meant watched all of them.
well, if you've seen Inhumans all the way through, let us know because I sure as hell didn't.
No. I think I watched more than the average person. But like, I mean, I feel like there was two circles missing. One was the Defenders, and the other was Wolvie, Deadpool, and Cable. That would have been beautiful.
Well, I mean, I feel like at the very least you can introduce Daredevil in some form into Spider-Man. The big like internet talkings are Charlie Cox is going to be Peter Parker's lawyer, and then all that kind of that's how he gets introduced. I highly doubt that happens. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Too much sense.
I highly doubt it happens. However, you could bring him in because Daredevil plays a big part in some Spider-Man stories, being that they're both in New York, and we have yet to really get a Spider-Man movie in New York from Marvel/Sony that we've actually cared about. Don't get it twisted, that we've cared about.
Well, then get Daisy in there too. Daisy and Daredevil went to the same orphanage.
Right. So you can pull it in. There's ways. I trust everybody over at Marvel. So maybe they will. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Another kind of coming back, another rumor, if you will, is Linda Carter is talking about reprising her Wonder Woman role in the Flash film. The Flash film may never get made. Who the hell knows anymore? It's gone through so many directors. But we have Michael Keaton reprising his role. So Linda Carter is apparently in talks, or allegedly, to reprise Wonder Woman, which if you have like a multiverse, and that's one thing DC does really well is their multiverse. So yeah, bring Linda Carter in, have Gal Gadot, have Michael Keaton, have Ben Affleck, have all the Batmans, all the Wonder Womans, all the Flashes, John Wesley Shipp, get in there yourself. Like this is going to be great, I think.
Well, and they tied in the show too, and she was the president in Supergirl, but she was also an alien.
Yeah, she was. And then, of course, we've seen Flash appear on the Flash TV show, Ezra Miller has.
So that's why they've already crossed those.
Yeah, so there's ways they can do it. And I think she'll reprise it, and she should, because she was like the Wonder Woman for the longest time before we got Gal Gadot. So it'd be nice to kind of see her just at least make some sort of appearance. I think.
Yeah, they could do so much. I mean, you also have Supergirl is Supergirl's mom in Supergirl.
It all comes in, Jason Garrick was John Wesley Shipp, who played the original Flash. And there's a lot you can do, especially in the DC multiverse. Like,
Mhm.
again, that's the one thing that DC does really well over Marvel is their multiverse is amazing. So
Well, we may get some of that. We'll
we
see.
are, we will. Who knows? We'll see eventually. More to come on that. Hawkeye was doing some filming in Brooklyn this week. Jeremy Renner's back in the gym. He posted 6 years ago he was kicking his ass in the gym and his body hurt and all that. And now he's back in it. So Disney Plus's Hawkeye show's getting filming. And allegedly, Haley Steinfeld, there was rumors of her close to signing on. They're gaining steam. They kind of fell off, but the Hawkeye showrunner was kind of on her Instagram, and so people are speculating that she is for sure going to be Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye series. Which, if you know Hawkeye, Kate Bishop takes over. She's kind of trained. She takes over for Hawkeye eventually, and so the big theory is that we're going to get like Young Avengers kind of introduced in the Disney Plus shows, and they're going to make a movie at some point potentially, but it could all be hearsay. Who knows at this point? But other than that, yeah, I have nothing more to say than that. Other than Hawkeye's filming, so potentially 2021 we can have a good string of Disney Plus shows because that is, other than Mandalorian right now, nothing is keeping us afloat in this miserable year, and it's not gonna change once 21 hits at midnight. It's gonna be the same bullshit in a whole new year.
We'll have WandaVision on what was it, January
16th,
5th?
January 16th. We
16th.
do have WandaVision, which I think is going to roll into Falcon Winter Soldier, like I said before.
Yeah.
And then who knows? Maybe we have Loki, and then we have Hawkeye, and then we have Mandalorian. Maybe they all like overlap, like one's on one day, one's on the other day. I don't know. Um, but last thing with Disney is they had a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. If you've watched Black Panther, the intro is typically for Marvel. It's all the Avengers, all that kind of stuff appears, but they just solely gave it straight to Chadwick, which was such a great tribute. I don't know how you cannot like get emotional when seeing anything that has to
Yeah.
do with Chadwick Boseman because he was such a phenomenal human being. What he did for the character, for children of color to be like, hey, I could be a superhero, and they saw this on the big screen, and so it's. I hope that's one of the things that'll stick around for Black Panther 2, which is going to start filming
Oh,
in
that'd be awesome.
June or July of 21.
I hope they do that. Yeah, I saw that they had changed that. So if you put on Black Panther and Disney Plus at the beginning, that Marvel sequence is all Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah,
And they did that when Stan Lee passed at the beginning of Captain Marvel with all
yeah, they
his
did.
cameos, and it was like, oh, it was such a nice tribute. I would love to see the beginning of Black Panther too. I agree. I think that'd be awesome.
As soon as that movie rolls, like there's so many things they can do with it, and it's going to be emotional, of course,
Yeah.
as it should. He was amazing. Um, what
So
do
we need
you
to do it.
have?
We have to do a toast to
We
David
do.
Prowse. He passed away at 85 this week. He is Darth Vader. He's
He
not James Earl
is,
Jones. He actually played Darth Vader, so he was in the costume, in the helmet,
and
and apparently he memorized a lot of the lines.
well, he didn't realize that he was not going to be the voice. George Lucas kind of did him dirty.
Hmm.
James Earl Jones has come out and said, as far as he's concerned, David Prowse is Darth Vader because he did all the heavy work. So, David Prowse, he was great. He was Darth Vader, the Darth Vader that we all grew up knowing. So, cheers to you, David Prowse.
Absolutely. And in learning this, we also, when I looked him up, and you did the same thing. We both came to the realization on our own. He was also in Doctor Who. He
He
was a
was
Minotaur in a 1972 episode of Doctor Who.
a good throwback. Yeah, he was a Minotaur. He did a lot of
You
things,
should
and
Google it. I mean, he was jacked. He seemed like he was like
he
a,
was he's
yeah.
massive. He's tall. He was jacked, and George Lucas. David Prowse basically came out and was like, "Hey, what the hell? Why don't I get any sort of recognition for being this iconic character?" And George Lucas blackballed him more or less. And I'm not going to get in all of that. It sucks. I think both characters brought a huge element.
Mm-hmm.
James Earl Jones brought the iconic voice. David Prowse was the tall, menacing character who did all the work. So they both
Right.
should get credit equally. And over the last, there's a documentary on the whole thing. If you want to go look it up, there's a documentary, and one day he's going to get his recognition. And he
They have
already
a
kind of
great
has.
documentary. I don't know if we're talking about the same one on Disney Plus. There's a great one of the original trilogy.
Mhm.
And I think that's where I actually learned that information was I watched that trilogy, I think right after Disney Plus came out. Because that was one of the things I did when it came out was I rewatched all of the Star Wars, and then I watched that.
Which, yes, Star Wars. It might be the same one, or I think there might be another one solely on like the beef between George Lucas and.
Ah,
But nonetheless, what other news do we
interesting.
have?
Mm. So Entertainment Weekly named Chadwick Boseman Entertainer of the Year this week. Amazon canceled Utopia after one season.
It was a good
Even
show.
Stephen, I had not seen it, but I had heard multiple people recommending it, saying it was a great show. Even Stephen King was a fan. I don't know if this is true, but I heard there was some speculation that the show, I guess, had something was very relevant to 2020, even though it was filmed beforehand, and something about pharmaceutical companies making money. Did you watch it or
I
no?
haven't watched. It was recommended to me, so I was actually going to get
So
into
me
it here
too.
soon.
But now
But
I don't
now
want to
it's
watch it if
canceled.
it
It's
got
like, yeah.
abruptly canceled. But if anybody has seen it, let us know if
Oh
we're right or
God.
wrong. I don't know if there's some like, oh,
Listen,
shut that shit down. We don't
it's
want
not a
people to know what's
secret.
going
Pharmaceutical
on.
companies literally are only out for money, and they jacked up the
Right. We all
prices.
know the jig is
It's
up.
hello. It's not a big thing. Side note: I Am Your Father is the 2015 documentary about David Prowse and the fallout and why he was rejected. In case
Is it
anybody
I
wants
Am
it,
Your Father
it's
or
called "I Am Your Father."
But
Well, he
wasn't
was.
there, have you ever heard of what's the thing where you remember when something like, no, I'm your father, but the actual line is something else?
Oh yeah, no, Lopi one never told you about your father. Search
But
your feelings. You know it to be true.
there's a theory of it though. Like we remember so many things inaccurate. Josh, what's the name of the theory where we remember
Yes.
things inaccurate because somebody went back and changed time?
Nobody knows.
No, never mind. Think about it and then let me know. Sorry. Josh was walking back right then. There's something like they say that everybody remembers things in a certain way that aren't correct. And like there's this like theory where somebody had gone back in time and changed this and that's why like we remember what it was originally.
Right. Oh man,
Oh.
I don't remember.
Okay. I'll look it up. That'll be on our I Fucked Up next week. Okay.
It will
So
be.
The Grinch the Musical is going to be on NBC Wednesday, December 9th at 8, 7
That
Central. And
looks
that's going to
fucking
have
terrifying.
Matthew Morrison from Glee, if you're a
No,
Glee fan.
it's awful.
It's awful. I think it'll be fun. And he actually played a little bit of the Grinch in Glee. So season 7 of The Flash has actually stopped filming because of a positive COVID case with one of the crew members. When they do return, it is said that there will be some interesting narratives in place to wrap up season 6 in a unique way compared to what they usually do, since they never got to actually finish the storyline of the Glass Lady and all that.
Well, they got to wrap it up and then roll right into season
Right.
8.
So I guess they're gonna have some new way to do that. And I had even mentioned when the last like I think episode that aired, uh what's her face? Kate was obviously pregnant in real life and was acting
Yeah,
like she was
yeah.
going with her mom. And I mean her kid's probably 5 now. Who the hell knows? So Spider-Man 3 is set to release December
They're filming it.
17th, 2021. So I feel like we should take bets on if that will actually happen.
Prop bet. Let's do it. I think that it
Won't happen.
Well, all right, then I'm gonna have to go. It will happen. It's gonna. Can I go with it's gonna release in 2021? And if you'll be of the.
Yeah, but it's December 17th, 2021 is their
I think
anticipated release
they're
date.
filming it now. I think that it will still release in 2021.
I guess my concern is if somebody suddenly gets COVID and then they have
It's
to
a
halt
myth.
production.
Come on,
a
it's
myth.
America. It's a myth.
But we also have hope. And can you put it out in theaters too? Because okay, so we're gonna have Black Widow and we're gonna have
Black Widow's never
Eternals.
fucking coming out.
Eternals was supposed to come out in November.
It was. Yeah, you're right.
So I mean,
Spider-Man
yeah.
is a cash cow, so I feel like Sony will push that out regardless.
But
So
they can't push the. No, you can't.
I think
don't
no,
know.
I think Black Widow's gonna fold in the spring. We're gonna get Black Widow on Disney Plus, and then Eternals will probably come out in the summer in some shape or form, and then we're still gonna get Spider-Man 3. Let us know your thoughts. If you think something different, let us know.
All right.
Also, the quote goes like this: Darth Vader, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. So he never says, Luke, I am your father. He says, no, I am your father.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, but everybody remembers.
As Luke, I am your father.
Right. And then no.
Oh, no, well, it's not just
Every
no. He goes, no. It's not.
every time I hear the no, though, I picture Zurg yelling no,
Oh,
and then Buzz
gosh.
going, Father. All right, I'm
Yes.
going to look up that fan theory while you tell everybody
Well,
a quick recap on the
oh,
1978 Star Wars Holiday Special.
God bless America. So, yeah, this is a film that George Lucas dead and thought he buried. But if you go on YouTube, you can find this. It is the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special. It was filmed after A New Hope, which was, the first Star Wars film, and it takes place before The Empire Strikes Back. It ranks number 1 in the What Were They Thinking? The 100 Dumbest Events in Television History by David Hofstede. It's a book. 13 million people tuned in. It was only aired one time ever, as it should, because it was terrifying. It brought us creepy Wookiees. It introduced us to Boba Fett. Boba Fett was first introduced in this holiday film, and then he would go on to become like a staple for everybody. I don't get your love for Boba Fett. I don't think he did anything worth being lovable because he was in Star Wars for like 5 seconds.
Wait, where's Boba Fett?
Yeah.
And then that's it.
So the idea was Lucas was going to have a life day that focused on Chewbacca's family, but Chewbacca had nothing to do with it. It was just his creepy, drug-addicted, meth-looking family members that appeared.
The Mandela effect.
Oh, yes, it is the Mandela effect.
The Mandela, sorry.
It's like the
I was
Berenstein
Googling.
versus the Berenstain Bears. To me, it's Berenstein, but I guess
But
the
there-
books say Stain.
Weren't there
I
people
don't
that
know.
swore? I think it's called the Mandela effect because there were people that thought that Nelson Mandela died.
Oh, yeah,
right?
it's like a big thing. People thought he died, but he really didn't because he was in the prison.
Right. Josh looks confused, but I feel like Josh is the one that told me about it. I could have sworn.
Josh,
Oh my
you're
God, I'm
literally
having the
like
Mandela effect right now.
Josh is like a stoner who probably gets in these conversations. I'm not calling him a stoner, but like Josh totally smokes weed and gets in these conversations. Like, come on, man.
No.
Like if
Okay.
we smoke together, I feel like this is a conversation we would have.
And that is what you need to do before you watch this Star Wars Christmas
Oh no, you
holiday
need to
special.
take acid before you watch the Star Wars Christmas holiday special. You need.
It took me days to watch it. It was so it's
only
an
like
hour
an hour
and 37 minutes.
Yeah.
And it literally took me days. And I kept putting it on, and my daughter would be like, "Oh my God, we have to have this on again."
It
And
is
I'm
awful. Oh my God, it is
so
awful.
bad.
Dorothy from the Golden Girls is in it. She runs the cantina. She's only the third human woman with a speaking role in Star Wars, and nobody pays attention to her. She starts singing. There's drunk aliens. She's kicking people out. It's
So
basically
weird because
I don't know what's going on here.
at first, like, people are coming in and she's like, order a drink. I need to make money. And then like the Empire is like, we have to shut down everything in Tatooine. How do
Shut
you
down
say
the
it?
bar.
Shut it
Tatooine.
all down. And then she's like, fine. And she's trying to get everybody out. She's like, the Empire is shutting us down. You have to leave. And nobody's leaving. So then she's like, fine, last round on me. And then she starts freaking singing. And apparently they all get super drunk off this last drink and then leave because she's singing. And they like try to make it like holiday-esque and special.
Oh, it was
and-
bad. The bouncer even starts to cry at one point because the Empire made them close everything in Tatooine potentially, but they made them close the cantina, which is the bouncer's only source of income.
So I have to ask, when was the last time you watched this movie?
Oh my God. I watched it like last week over days.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah. I had to like
Okay.
refresh my memory because this is one of those like repressed memories people have. Only I was tortured by the Star Wars holiday movie. I saw it for the first time when I was like a kid. I remember hearing about it, and this was when like the internet was becoming a thing.
How'd you see it as a kid?
I searched it and somehow I saw it. I don't remember. Maybe
Did
I was
YouTube
taking.
exist then?
I'm not. I mean, yeah.
Well,
I grew up
guess
during the
maybe
golden
we
age of the
are.
internet. So I like when I was growing up, like MySpace was obviously a big thing. Shout out to Tom
Okay.
from MySpace. He had the right idea. He got in and he got out, and he is rich
Tom
as
and I
fuck.
are still friends on MySpace. If
I
MySpace
top
still
8
exists.
yeah, no, it does. I logged in like a year ago last, but it doesn't exist in the realm that we used to. Anyways, yeah,
If you go to my MySpace page, Britney Spears will play.
I was going through my emo phase, so you probably get like Under Oath or My Chemical Romance filled with razor blades. I
Mine
don't know.
was like, my toxic gun slipping under.
Free Britney, by the way, just a heads up. If anyone's
Oh yeah,
listening,
what the fuck is
free
up with
my
that?
girl Britney because she is captive. Anyways,
Moving along.
yes. What?
Oh yes. So Carrie Fisher has made this same comment in several appearances that she enjoyed the movie and plays it at many of her parties, mainly at the end of the night when she wants people to leave. And
Yeah.
so anybody who knows her mom is Debbie Reynolds. She's in Singing in the Rain. So she's good
She's
morning.
in a lot of stuff.
Good
Yeah.
morning. Right. But like she did musicals. Carrie Fisher can't sing as well as her mother can, and unfortunately this show ends with her singing.
Yeah. It wasn't great. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. And
it wasn't the best. It'd be like if I started singing. Like I'm not no. So the best, if anybody follows Mark Hamill, after the 2020 presidential debate, the first one, he said that was the worst thing he had ever seen, and he was in the Star Wars holiday special.
I would take his word for it. Mark Hamill, if you've ever followed Mark Hamill on Twitter, he is like so self-aware. He's also the Joker in the Batman animated series. If you've lived under a rock your entire life and didn't know this,
he's also in Gotham.
Yes, he's in he does like a lot of like random things.
And he's Chucky we talked about this on the horror movie episode where the little kid wants to name the Chucky doll Han Solo. And he's like, no, Chucky, that's a great name. Or whatever he says.
He is Chucky.
We can't forget Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
He also plays the Trickster. He's in the Flash TV series as the Trickster.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember who he was in Gotham.
He's in the 90s version, and then he reappears in the Grant Gustin version as well.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I was thinking Gotham. He's maybe I am thinking of Flash. Where like he's the bad guy in jail, and then I'm Supergirl.
Oh, was he?
Starting. Oh fuck me. Hold on. I'm just gonna look it up.
Anyways, yeah. Everybody kind of pretends the movie isn't canon, but in Mandalorian, there are two significant references to it. In an early scene, the titular bounty hunter brings in a blue alien who is Horatio Sanz, who talks about celebrating Life Day. Hello, Life Day. Then also Mandalorian carries around a rifle, the same weapon carried by Boba Fett in the holiday special. And also it's got to be canon because Boba Fett makes an appearance. And
how did they not know that Boba Fett was he was such a dick to begin with?
Well, he just is the most useless character because if you've not watched this and then you just watch Star Wars, he's only in the movie for like 5 minutes. He does nothing. He gets eaten by a fucking sarlacc.
Which is why I never understood what the big deal was. I mean, he's even on my freaking I have the Empire Strike Back sweater on right now. I was like, why is Boba Fett on there?
I honestly never got the appeal for Boba Fett myself. He doesn't do anything. We created a backstory. He makes his first appearance in the prequels as a child who watches his dad get his head cut off, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, the Wookiee costumes in this were so cheap that the actors could only be in them for 20 minutes at a time, and they needed water, rest, and oxygen, and they probably needed to do more drugs to get back in there and actually be a part of this.
So did you know that Mark Hamill is in The Mandalorian Chapter 5? He's the gunslinger. He does the EVD-9DN voice. He's uncredited.
Huh. I had no idea.
And
I hit
my son loves the Stinky and Dirty show.
I know that show. Your son likes that show too. So does mine. My kids like that Stinky and Dirty as well.
Let's see.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, he's also the Joker in Lego DC Supervillains.
He's in a lot of stuff. I actually hit him up on Twitter to join us. So if anybody listens to this, help us get Mark Hamill. He'll never see it on Twitter, but help us get Mark Hamill on our podcast at some point. And who knows, magical things can happen. Just like the 2020 Lego Star Wars.
Wait, hold on. I do have.
Oh no, we're going too fast.
Before we go to 2020, I do have a theory on the 70s show and what they were going for. So, here it is. Mark Hamill was in The Flash. He was the trickster, and that was the TV show. So that's probably what I'm thinking of. But I could have sworn I remembered him being the guy in Supergirl's dad.
Huh.
Okay, whatever. We'll look at that later. Maybe we'll fix that next week. So my theory with why what they were trying to do with that show is, do you remember like TV? I mean, this is before my time, like TV variety shows. Like at the holidays, they would
It's
have these
before your
variety
time. It's
shows.
not going to be during my time.
Well, it's before my time, but like sometimes people will try to recreate it. Like I think Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey tried to do something like this in the early 2000s. And then you'll see it like that comedian, that British comedian who's travels with his dad, and he's always making like comments with his dad and everything. Like they've done a holiday variety show. So what it is I don't know if it was the 60s or 50s or 70s, I don't know. But they would have these holiday variety shows where somebody would host, and then people would come in and they would sing Christmas songs, and
Oh,
somebody
no.
would come in and like showcase a talent. So I almost felt like that's what they were going for in this. It just
Listen,
fell
you tried, okay?
terribly.
You tried. And it didn't
Because
detract from Star Wars.
but you even see like Chewie's son like watching these people do these acrobats, and so that was kind of what I got out of it. And then like, oh, they're watching something on a screen, and then they go to something else, and they're oh, here's a skit over here. So I felt like that's what they were trying to do. It just was absolutely garbage. But I will say that
Wasn't
they
great.
also they had a little bit of like foresight, I guess you would call it, on like some of the technologies we have today. Like when Chewie's son is watching the video of how to set up that machine, it honestly looks like he's watching a YouTube tutorial.
Maybe
So they have
was.
certain things, I guess, and it's almost like they have FaceTime and then you're whatever. So there were things that were interesting, but it was terrible.
It wasn't good.
Okay, so now that I'm done
mean,
researching things and going on
The
tangents.
2020 Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, it was not groundbreaking by any means, but I thought
No,
this
but it was good.
much more enjoyable. The basic premise is that Rey is training Finn to be a Jedi, which, hello, okay, let's talk about this for a second here. So Finn, we all thought was going to be the big Jedi. He was a runaway stormtrooper. He was built to be a Jedi. Well, Disney and Ryan Johnson, JJ Abrams set him up great. He got his ass kicked by Kylo in The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi, Finn got pushed to the side and he kind of got salty about it. He had a great story. Anyways,
Salty.
and then in the Rise of Skywalker, he was like, Rey, I got something to tell you. Well, JJ Abrams came out and said that, hey, he wanted to tell him that he was Force sensitive. Well, he never got the chance to because the whole sequel trilogy was absolute and total ass. It sucked. It was awful. But in this, we see Finn training as a Jedi, which kind of confirms the theories that he has Force powers. Thank God. If only they made 3 movies that actually gave a good fucking storyline. Regardless, Rey can't train
Star
him.
Wars
She feels
fans
like
are the ones that hate Star Wars the most.
we are. Oh, God, it's bad. But Rey is like, I can't train Finn. I'm a shitty teacher. And so she goes to a Jedi temple. She pores over the texts. She finds a time stone, and she accidentally opens up portals, trips through times. And, hilarity ensues. All the while, Poe Dameron is back on the Millennium Falcon, inviting Chewbacca's family. Hello, call back to the old
Yep.
Star Wars
and I didn't know
holiday.
that until I watched the old one. I was like, oh,
Yes.
that's why all the Wookiees were going crazy.
Yes. So Poe is setting up a Life Day celebration, and that's going on. Chewbacca's family's coming. Call back to the old one, but yeah. So meanwhile, Rey's tripping through time. Rey is
She's
voiced by
tripping through time.
she is. Rey is voiced by Daisy Ridley. I didn't know this at first. I was like, my first impressions were, wow, Rey sounds god awful, and then I looked it up, and it's Daisy Ridley voices her. Yeah.
She's probably trying to go for like a cheesy kind of. I mean, it is a Lego movie.
It is. It's not supposed to be good. I'm just nitpicking. I just didn't realize it was her. Her voice didn't sound great. Regardless, Finn is a Jedi. Again, I wrote fuck you, JJ Abrams and Ryan Johnson, because yeah, we had been set up for like Finn was a runaway stormtrooper with Jedi powers, but instead nothing. There's that. Rose gets more screen time in this movie than she did Rise of Skywalker. It's
Just
very
pretty
true.
sad. I liked Rose.
Sad.
I like Rose.
Hate her. I felt as though Finn, if they weren't going to do anything with his character, he should have died in The Last Jedi.
Harsh.
But we're talking about Lego here, and we'll get into that whole can of beans a different time. But Rose, yeah, she gets some screen time in this. the first little trip through time was Rey and BB-8 going to Dagobah, and she sees Luke training and Master
She's
Yoda
like,
talking
my
about training.
master, my
Yeah, she's like,
master's master.
I'm seeing my master's master and my master's master's father in this. And I did a terrible British accent, but so that's the first kind of thing. And you get to see Dagobah, and it's kind of cool. I do enjoy the whole aspect that she kind of trips through time and sees what's going on.
You're gonna like the Mandalorian scene.
Yeah.
Aww.
And then we go into the opening of episode 1. So you see Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon sitting around the table. Obi-Wan's basically like, nah, this sucks. Why are we here? Trade disputes are stupid. Trade Federation sucks. Fast forward, she trips through time again. We go to episode 3. You got Obi-Wan and Anakin on the elevator, and he says his famous line, "Hello there." If you're a fan of prequel memes, or
Hello there.
well, there's a whole subreddit on Reddit called prequel memes, and the biggest running joke of all time is "hello there." So if like you take a girl on a date and you say hello there and she doesn't respond with General Kenobi, she's not the one for you, because
Shit.
General Grievous responds General Kenobi to his hello there, and so that's why he said hello there a couple times. That's another
See,
Easter
when
egg.
I was dating, it was just the unlock the other side of the car door thing. That's from
Oh,
one of the
God.
mobster movies. You don't know that one?
No.
Really?
You unlocked
Was
car
it?
doors? First of all, in my generation, we go to Tinder and we smash.
We
And
could
you
do Tinder. All right. Well, my husband and I went to high school together, so I don't know how good of a whatever I am with this. But no, there's a mafia movie where they say before you could just unclick
Is it The Godfather?
I don't think no, it's not The Godfather. I don't think it is. I mean, I've seen all the God. I've seen the movie, but I
A
can't remember
Bronx
what it is.
Tale? I don't know.
Hold on, I was thinking the Bronx Tale. So you let the girl into the door, and if she leans over to unlock your door, she's money. But if she doesn't, she's I don't know, garbage.
She ain't nothing, honey.
What mafia
I don't know.
movie? I've never Googled so
s-
much during an episode.
Yeah, we are Googling a bunch. After that, we go to the attack run on the Death Star. Rey is sitting in Luke's lap. You hear
A
Obi-Wan.
Bronx Tale.
It was a Bronx Tale. Yes, we were
The
right.
door test. I thought it was
Yes.
a Bronx Tale. Yes. Okay.
It sounded, I've
That's
seen that movie. So
great
many times,
movie.
too. I have seen it
Okay.
a bunch of times. But Rey is on the attack run. She tells him, "Luke, use the Force, you idiot," in less words. And so he
idiot.
does. Blows up the Death Star.
What? He blows up the Death Star. Spoilers.
Surprise!
Surprise.
Then we go to Vader giving a mug
Wasted
to
the goods.
Palpatine, which this is
Okay.
my childhood in a movie, giving something to somebody you look up to, and they throw it to the side. I
But
was
do you
adopted.
understand that line was my favorite line of the whole 40 minutes? When he throws it and he goes, I went to every gift shop in Batu looking for that. If that's Disney, he was talking about Disney because Disney is Batu.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
Speaking of
So
which, they have
Galaxy's
some kick-ass
Edge.
mugs.
Yes, Galaxy's Edge is Batu. And so he went to every gift shop at Disney looking for that mug. And I'm hoping to go there next week. And I really hope to God they are selling that mug, because if they're not, that's a huge missed opportunity.
Podcast over.
I'll buy you the mug. We'll have the podcast back on.
Podcast back on. We're back on,
Okay.
baby. Yeah, so Vader suggests calling the next Death Star Starkiller Base, to which Palpatine says it's the stupidest name he's ever heard. It is another Death Star, but a planet size. Come on, get serious, JJ. But Rey appears there, and then her and Vader start to battle for the stone, in which they end up on Hoth, and the stormtroopers are following Vader, and then they see Vader battling, and they're just basically like, they say each other's lines, to which they're like, "You are me," and then the stormtroopers are like, "What's the protocol here? We have no idea." And it was a great little like cheesy scene, but it was funny. And then they battle each other. You're most impressive, and they kind of like, "You are me." Oh, no way. They create another portal. They go through a hole, and
Keep listening.
we get some Anakin versus Obi-Wan action, which is the greatest duel in all of Star Wars. If you don't cry
Anakin, I
when
loved
Obi-Wan's like, "You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you." If you don't roll tears during that, get the fuck out of here right now, because that is the saddest moment in history.
I've never
History.
cried during anything Star Wars.
I've never cried during a movie. However, Anakin versus Obi-Wan gets me feeling some type of way.
Endgame.
So sad. It's so
That's
sad.
it for me.
Like it is like like Obi-Wan, you're never mind. Never mind. From there
You're our only hope.
everybody falls through a portal. We introduce ourselves to Kylo Ren, who pretty much tells the Emperor,
Ben?
like, yeah, dude, you failed. And this is the reason, all that. And he's like, do you have a mask? And then he puts his mask together, and Vader's like, oh, how original. And I can relate to Vader. I can relate to Vader big time. Being adopted, my parents didn't love me either. And so Vader is not
But
loved by
Vader
Palpatine.
was not necessarily adopted. His
Uh,
mom was his mom, but isn't his father like the Force?
His father is confirmed, unconfirmed, basically confirmed is that Palpatine manipulated the Force and created Anakin because he knew how to create life.
But
So,
nobody
yeah,
adopted, like his birth mother raised him.
we're not getting deep into that. I'm just saying I know what
Okay.
it's like
All right.
not
Well,
to have
on
love.
Hops News tonight, you just called yourself the Messiah, so I thought you'd have more answers.
I am the chosen one for Hops
Chosen
News.
one.
If you listen to Hops News, I'm the chosen one. There's no other way around it.
Oh, Josh says it all the time because he's Jewish. They're the chosen people.
They are, and I call myself Jewish all the time because I am.
And he likes to tell me I'm not chosen.
Well, not everybody. Blessed are the few.
You know what I learned in Sunday school? Jesus loves me. This I know, for the Bible tells me so. Okay.
My Bible is Harry Potter. I
Oh,
like
no.
turtles.
I like turtle. I like zombies. Did you see that Tosh.0, the web redemption?
I did. Anyways, Kylo makes the joke, there's no coming back from the reactor shaft. And then he suggests calling the next base Starkiller Base, to which Palpatine's like, that's the greatest name ever. And he tells Vader to shut up, basically. And they go back to the Death Star. Rey loses the stone. This is after Rey lost the stone. I'm sorry. She
And all the spoilers.
Luke, Force Ghost Yoda appears. And it's like, use the Force in much more words. She goes, uses the Force, time travels to where they are.
Words.
She time travels to the Death Star. She battles Ben, and then Luke.
Ben? Who's Ben?
Ben? I don't know what Ben.
No, that's what, doesn't Palpatine say that? Who's Ben?
He does. Palpatine sends Vader down to Endor to pick up Luke, to which Ben is like, just so you know, this is literally how you set off the chain of events that causes you to be thrown down the reactor shaft, because that's the running joke. And so Vader does that, brings Luke, everybody battles. Ben gets launched back to his time, and then Vader picks up Palpatine, and as he's being electrocuted, he electrocutes himself into a Christmas sweater and throws Palpatine down the shaft.
Down the shaft.
It was great. Yes, just down the shaft. But it was great overall. And then Rey corrects time, and Luke's like, don't you want to know how it ends? She's like, I already know, and disappears, and everybody has a good life day. This was much more easier to get through than the original Star Wars holiday traditional movie. This is Lego. It's all in good fun. I have the advent calendar. If you're watching on YouTube, it's behind me back there. That is the advent calendar you see is actually the one you're going to see in the movies. So I'll be posting pictures from that, and it's Lego. So if you played the Lego Star Wars games, which I have, they're stupid fun. All the Legos content that they put out, like the Lego movie, even, it's all stupid fun. And I liked this movie. I thought this movie was really good.
Yeah, it was cute. And honestly, it's kind of fun for the whole family. Like, you know, my 8-year-old refuses to watch any of the Star Wars movies, and she enjoyed it. But every time I laughed,
what?
She won't. But yet these toys behind me, you see, I got Rey and I got Leia. Those are all her toys.
So I'm gonna have a long talk with your 8-year-old after this about.
She might listen to you, because when you complimented her Legos, she loves you now. So you might actually have some impact on there.
You know what? I'm gonna change your daughter's life, and you'll thank me later.
Well, I try to get her to watch. Honestly, when my mom tried to get me to watch them in middle school, wasn't going to happen.
You probably have to wait a few years. You're right.
Yeah. But when we watched it, she enjoyed it. But like anytime I laughed, she's like, why are you laughing? Because there's so many just Easter eggs, and that's what you're laughing at.
Yes.
But I did laugh the hardest at the Batu, because I was so excited and proud of myself that I understood that reference, and that I felt like Captain America in that moment.
I get that reference.
Right.
You get that, and then you got Luke drinking the blue milk the whole time, which is another great reference.
I didn't catch that in the first one. I was like, oh, I just thought he was drinking a juice box, and I was like, oh, he's drinking milk. That's hilarious.
He's drinking blue milk, and that's like the running joke. And
right. I
it's
did
just
explain that one to my 8-year-old. I was like, well, he drinks this nasty milk. I'm like, the blue milk at Disney? It
I'm
comes
gonna
out of
get
a huge
I will
animal.
get her. I will get her into Star Wars.
Well, she
Um,
likes going to. Well, she hasn't done any. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I got more so into it because Disney was doing it, and I looked at Kaylee one day and was like, if we, I think I even said this on our origin story. If we watch all these movies, we're gonna really appreciate this more since they're not building an Avengers land in Florida.
nope. They have Nintendo Land in Japan, so maybe we'll get an Avengers Land somewhere.
We're supposed to be getting a Nintendo land. Nintendo's Universal. It's not Disney.
I know it's Universal. It's
Okay.
all the same to
So
me.
we're supposed to be getting a Nintendo land in Orlando, but they halted production. And
Stop listening, go watch, catch up, come back.
huh?
And that was your chance. So we are caught up. The most recent episode is The Jedi, to which we find out baby Yoda, the child's name is Grogu. And he goes to the planet. He looks for Ahsoka. He finds the magistrate who's like, go find this Jedi, kill her. He finds her. He's like, no, Ahsoka Tano, I need you. Help me. And she's like, what the fuck? And then it's Rosario Dawson, who, by the
She's
way,
like, I hope this is about him.
yes, and it's Baby Yoda. She explains to us that Grogu was actually a Jedi at the temple during her time there, and he was hidden during the purge.
So who hit him?
Exactly. I hope we find out soon. He was hidden during the purge, and so he has a name, he understands, but his mind goes blank after being hidden during the purge. And so we're trying to figure out like who hit him, what happened in these years, because he's 50. So he was learning to be a Jedi. Ahsoka remembers him, and Ahsoka refuses to train him because she saw what emotional attachments can do once before. Hello, Anakin Skywalker. Because she was Anakin's apprentice, which I'll get into in a minute here. And so Mando teams up with her. They take down the town. She tells him to go to Tython, which is a planet from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So they're bringing in old lore from like old stuff into this. And thank you, Jesus in heaven, if you exist. Thank you for Dave
I thought that was
Filoni.
you.
It is. So thank me later. Thank you for bringing in Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, because they are bringing in stuff that was thought not to be canon. They're bringing in just everything into the universe. I can't even it was great. The episode was great. So I think kind of my theory is we're gonna have some spin-off shows, probably of Ahsoka, probably of some other characters. And
You think so?
I think so. So
Ah.
what Disney has not done well is build a universe. What George Lucas did well was not his storytelling, it was building a universe.
Wait,
So
how did Disney not do good building a universe? Because
So-
Marvel's
no, I'm talking Disney Star Wars. So
okay.
Disney Star Wars in their sequel trilogy, it all took place like in a 2-year span. They only went to like 3 planets. They didn't build the universe. In the prequels with George Lucas, they were everywhere. It really built the universe. The universe felt big. And so kind of what I think they have a chance to do here is you have these different spin-off shows going on at the same time. It builds your universe. The universe feels big, which it kind of does with Mandalorian, because he's planet hopping to all these new crazy places. So they kind of build the universe. There's all these things that could be going on at the same time. Like Mando could be going on his universe to bring the child to wherever he needs to. You could have Ahsoka doing her mission. You could have whatever
Okay.
going on.
So kind of like what Marvel's done, or MCU, I should
Yes,
say.
and they
has
can
done.
cross
Okay.
over, absolutely. And Rosario Dawson said that fan casting way back a few years ago, people were like, this is what I want. Boss Logic did a mock-up of her as Ahsoka. And so fan casting basically got her the job as Ahsoka. And so they're not going to one-off. They will not in no way one-off Ahsoka by any means. She is the biggest character probably in Star Wars right now, or she's the main character. So I feel like we're going to get some spin-offs, and that's really going to do a lot for world building. And then also Disney Plus is going to take off, because I would watch the fuck out of an Ahsoka show. First, I'll get your thoughts on what you thought about this episode, and then I'm going to go down a rabbit hole real quick, and then we can wrap it up.
I mean, I don't have too many opinions. I know a lot of people didn't like Grogu. The second he heard his name, the adorableness of his reaction, it was like,
He was like, me? Yeah,
right.
it's
He
like
was
your
like, huh?
puppy looking at you when you
Right.
mention
He
food.
was just so happy to hear, to hear Mando saying his name. So I was perfectly fine with him. I don't know what the hell people expected. I know there's also been
Star
the
Wars fans are
theory.
never pleased.
No, they're not. The theory, what is it? Yoda and the other person was another
Oh,
wise.
well, she took place. She was.
I don't know. Anyways,
Yaddle. Her
somebody
name
put
is
it perfect.
Yaddle.
It's like you meet two humans named like, Michael and Mick, and then you meet somebody
Yeah.
named Joe, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, no, that's totally okay. That's totally normal. I love Rosario Dawson. I love her as
I do.
the night nurse, in
Oh,
Defenders and
yes.
everything.
Yes. She was also in Kevin Smith's Clerks, too.
Oh, are you talking about Interspecies Erotica?
Yes.
Or maybe the glass I own called Glass to Mouth, but only if you're in
Yes,
love.
I do have a glass to.
I love Rosario Dawson. She's awesome.
I
So,
do love her.
and I love Clerks. We need a Kevin Smith episode. So I genuinely loved it. I have seen the Clone Wars movie, and then I watched the first 2 episodes of the series, and I liked her, but I couldn't get over the actual storyline and the animation because I've said this before, I'm just not an animation fan. But I loved her as Mandalorian, and I know there are people that have issues with her, and I don't understand why.
People are complaining about her. I think they're shakas or something. They're not
Right,
long enough.
because they're
They're not-
right because as she ages, they get longer. But it's like you're talking about like real life versus animation.
Yeah, I mean, and then if you look in the Clone Wars animation, Count Dooku look all sorts of fucking weird. So people are just gonna complain about whatever. She was great. I thought she was great. She had the tone, everything down perfect in my
Right.
opinion.
At first, she was almost talking exactly like she does in the animation.
She does. Yeah.
So, I mean, she did a great job. I love Rosario Dawson as a person and an actor. So go down your rabbit hole. I'm ready.
So you saw her mention. She asked where Grand Admiral Thrawn is.
Yes.
Thrawn was introduced back in the early 90s in a book, Heir to the Empire, I think it was, or maybe that was the newer version. Anyways, he was introduced. He's like the only alien to be a Grand Admiral because the Empire was very racist and prejudiced against aliens. If you weren't like a human species, they didn't put you in their army or their ranks, anything. And so Grand Admiral Thrawn was found. He was put through the academy. He is like just a genius when it comes to strategy, things like that. He shows up in Rebels. He's like the main bad guy for most of Rebels, in which he doesn't spoiler. Well, if you're listening to this, you already spoiled the fuck. So spoiler alert for Rebels. Spoiler alert for Rebels. He doesn't die. Another Jedi. So Ahsoka shows up in Rebels. There's a theory that this takes place before the Rebels show because she kind of pops up on the last episode to go off with Sabine, who is a Mandalorian herself, to go find Ezra.
Wait, what's the one that was in the show? Because she's from the cartoon. Before we met Ahsoka.
So that's Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan is from Clone
Wars.
That's right.
Okay.
She was the sister of oh god, her name escapes me, but Obi-Wan more or less like loved her, even though he's not supposed to have attachments, but he loved her. That was like his boo. That was her sister. She was like a radical. She was with Death Watch. Now she's on her own kind of thing. But Sabine is a Mandalorian. They are at the end of Rebels are going off. You see Ahsoka in her white robes, all that kind of stuff. They meet up and they go off. And then Thrawn. So Ezra Miller is a Jedi who was found by Kanan, who escaped the Purge. Kanan took him under his wing. Ezra, to save everybody, gets on the ship with Thrawn and more or less launches them into random hyperspace with random coordinates. So the theory is that he's still with Thrawn somewhere, and so Ahsoka's looking for Ezra. And so there's going to be a possible Sabine intertwining, who's a Mandalorian again. I'll say it again. Or they're going to have their own show spinoff trying to find Ezra.
Ezra, not the Flash.
No, but
the cartoon character.
The theory is that Ezra Miller, I'm sorry, not Ezra Miller. Ezra.
No, I think it is Ezra. I think they're both Ezra Miller.
No, I think
yeah, because
right.
when you said that the first time, I was like, was he talking about the Flash actor?
I think it is.
They're both called Ezra Miller.
Ezra might be the Jedi that she's referring to. Like maybe a Jedi will find you on this planet, or maybe we'll get like a young version of Luke Skywalker. The fan casting was Sebastian Stan, so maybe he'll show up
Yes, I
since
have
he's on
seen those
Disney's
pictures.
payroll. So maybe
And
we'll get
dude,
like
he
a young
really
Skywalker.
does. It's so
I
funny.
personally would love a young Skywalker because then it opens the door, and I know Mark Hamill
The
has
one
said
that's
he's
not a
good with
little
it.
bitch like in episode 4.
Right. And Mark Hamill's already said I'm pretty sure that he's cool with it too. And so we're gonna get some form of, or there's Cal, who is from the Fallen Order series. It's a video game. He is played by Dominic Morton. Is it Dominic? Anyways, the guy who plays the Joker in the Gotham series, he plays Cal's voice in the video
He's from
game.
Shameless.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Cameron.
Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah.
He plays
I
Cal
love him in
in
Shameless.
the Fallen Order. So there's a lot of opportunities there. Maybe one of these Jedi find him. They're trying to find Ezra. Who knows? Maybe Mando helps Ahsoka, because I don't think this is the last time we're going to see Ahsoka. Anyways,
Oh no, that would be wasted.
it would be a
if they-
wasted.
yeah.
We're gonna see Ahsoka again, especially Rosario Dawson. You see Mando, he gets the Beskar. So we're obviously gonna have a fight between him and Grand Moff Gideon with the
Which we
Darksaber,
know can repel lightsabers.
which the Darksaber shows up in the Clone Wars. It's a Mandalorian weapon, which Bo-Katan had last, and somehow Moff
But
Gideon.
now Moff Gideon has. Right?
Yes, so
Okay.
I'm sure we're going to see them pop up again. Well, Moff Gideon, of course, and there's going to be a fight with the Beskar staff. Anyways, Rebels, if you haven't watched it, watch it, because Ahsoka, she is originally Anakin's Padawan. She shows up in the Clone Wars movie, which is shit. But
So is that what I'm talking about when I said I saw the movie? Was
yes, that's the
Okay.
Clone Wars movie in 2008. And then
Right.
she shows up in the TV show, and she gets so freaking amazing as it goes on. Like, she is seriously great. She leaves the Jedi Order because she gets framed for a murder she didn't commit. Mace Windu doesn't believe her. She leaves, but she comes back. Season 7 of Clone Wars is all about Ahsoka and Rex, who's a clone.
So she's
And
gone in that whole middle time?
she's up until so there's one season without her.
So I need to. I've been told by more than one
Watch it.
person that there's certain
Watch it.
episodes that only need to be watched. I don't need to watch the whole thing
Correct. I will compile a list. I'll get you the list.
because it was bad. I couldn't even do it as a
no,
treadmill show.
Trust me, it's great. It is great. Once you piece everything together, it's great. She leaves the Jedi Order, which is why you never hear about her in the movies, right? So that's their way of tying that together. She was created by Dave Filoni, who directed this episode. She leaves, she comes back. Like what we see happening, she kind of comes back. She's on a ship. She goes back to Mandalore during the siege of Mandalore, which takes place during Order 66. She pretty much helps Bo-Katan with Mandalore. She captures Darth Maul again, and Order 66 happens while she's on the ship. And the way if you do nothing else, watch the final episode of the Clone Wars TV series. Maybe watch that first, and that'll get you hooked. Trust me, watch it, because the final scene, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I need you to watch it. If you do nothing else, watch it. It's my background on all my work computers, because it's such a heartbreaking, holy fucking Christ, this hits you hard. So
Well, I
watch
know
that.
people that have Geeks and Beer. If anybody
Yeah.
doesn't already follow her, she's awesome, and you should follow her. She posts amazing geek beer pictures. But I remember her commenting about how
Yeah,
yeah.
the final scene of Clone Wars TV series is amazing. But then she makes an appearance in Rebels where she fights Darth Vader. I'm not going to give away any more than that. She fights Darth Vader. She shows up through Rebels. She's one of the people responsible for getting the rebellion off its feet. So that's why Ahsoka is so important. That's why she's not going to be just a one-off. And that's kind of our
And
rabbit
it's-
hole.
And they cast Rosario Dawson, so I feel like
Yes.
that's promising as well.
Exactly. We're gonna definitely have to go in depth. If you watch it, we'll go in depth. We're gonna do an episode, by all means. We'll do an episode on Star Wars in general. It might have to be 2 episodes, to be honest with you, because
Star Wars, you could do one on each trilogy.
Yeah, we will. We're gonna
And then the TV.
we're gonna do Star Wars episodes sporadically.
I think Hop Heroes is just released
They
one
did.
on Mandalorian. So
They did back-to-back episodes on the Mandalorian. So
right. And
check
JR
them
is an expert.
JR and actually Zach, he goes in depth about it too. So check them
Oh, you
out.
already listened. I haven't listened yet.
Yes. Check them out. They go more in depth than we did. I kind of gave a brief overview. Yeah, we're gonna have to do episodes because I can't even begin to describe how much I geek out over this shit. But other
Definitely,
than
we need a
that,
Kevin Smith one. I need to rewatch Clerks.
I need to get Kevin Smith on our podcast too. So if anybody
Yeah,
knows Kevin
good
Smith,
luck with that
please,
one.
he'll never see or respond to me, but that's like him and Mark Hamill, the dream castings. So I will simp all day on my Twitter timeline.
He would have responded 30 years ago.
True.
I remember the first time watching a Kevin Smith movie was the first Clerks, and me and my friend being like, "Why the fuck is this black and white? Why are we watching a black and
Get
white
me in
movie?"
Mallrats 2, if nothing else.
We were in Mallrats 2 is coming out.
Well, yeah, they're
Um,
filming. at
Right.
some point.
But yeah, I remember watching Clerks in high school, and then we watched
too.
Mallrats and
I love
Chasing Amy.
I love Kevin Smith. Dogma.
Dogma. I need to rewatch Dogma. I haven't watched that in years.
It's great. It's great.
I still have the
Tusk
Jane
is
Silent
another
Bob Strike
really
Back
Tusk
and,
is a creepy
DVD.
ass movie, but it was great with Justin Long. Kevin Smith directed, so I recommend
Okay, I
Tusk.
haven't seen that one, but I
Yoga
don't like
Hosers
Justin
got
Long and
Johnny
scary
Depp.
movies.
You don't. Oh well, this one you're
'Cause
watch
he's
it.
in Jeepers Creepers.
He is. Justin Long's great in this movie. Watch Yoga Hosers. Has his daughter, Johnny Depp's daughter. Johnny Depp appears. That's a good movie. Stupid fun. He also did Cop Out with Bruce Willis. So if you ever heard him talk, the whole Bruce
That's
Willis.
not the worst. That movie wasn't with
No,
Tracy
the
Morgan,
movie wasn't
right?
bad, but Bruce Willis is a piece of work.
You don't like Bruce Willis?
I don't mind Bruce Willis. Just listen to him talk about Bruce Willis and what it was like working with him. Which segue?
On that note, next
Bruce
week we're gonna be
Willis
talking about Die
is
Hard.
actually he's the topic of next week because we're going to talk about Die Hard 1 and Die
Ho,
Hard
ho,
2
ho.
because
Now I
Die
have a
Hard is a
question.
Christmas movie. And like Hoppy just said, ho, ho, ho. Now I have a machine gun. We're going to talk Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay.
So slide into our DMs, Hops Geek News. Find us at Hops News on all your streaming podcast platforms. Like us, subscribe. That's how a podcast will grow.
Love us.
And thank you.
Yeah, if I didn't Google anything to correct anything this episode, let us know what
Yeah.
we messed up, and
Let us
we'll
know.
give you a shout out and not a
Special
shout
shout out
a-
next time. We will let you know that we fucked up. Nobody's perfect. And so other than that,
Not even the
cheers.
Messiah.
Thanks. Not even the Messiah. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Look at those glasses. Lone Pine and Baby Yoda.
Yes.
This has been a Hops News production. You can find Hops News on all your favorite podcasts and social media platforms at Hops News. Cheers.